Assalamu alaikum students, this lab is about speed control, and in this lab we are going to develop an understanding for the PI controller. PI control is specifically applied to the speed of the motor. We are going to see how it works and how we can tune it to meet certain requirements. The prerequisite for this experiment is the last lab that we have done, and it is the complete modeling of the system and the model validation experiment. Okay. This is the complete block diagram of our system in hand, where this part represents the controller, which we are saying that in today's lab we are going to implement PI controller here. And the input to this system is voltage Vm and the disturbance torque Td. And this is the form of transfer function that we have obtained in different parts of the previous lab. And the output here is the speed or velocity, which is calculated by using the information of the changing motor angle. So if motor angle is theta m and we are calculating the difference between theta m and theta m minus 1, it means that we are taking the successive differences. The microcontroller is actually implementing this algorithm to compute the velocity of your motor, and the relationship is s theta m by tau s plus 1, where this tf or tau is the filter time constant, the filter that is being applied to calculate the differences, and s is the Laplace operator. So this controller block has the algorithm that is implemented in the computer and the power amplifier. So this block actually has two things: the algorithm in the computer and the power amplifier, while VSD is the disturbance voltage. Okay, we know that our system is linear because of the transfer functions that we have developed. The non-linearities are not being considered. So whatever we are going to discuss in today's lab, we will be talking about the linear behavior of the system. Because the non-linearities, they come at the saturation point of your motor amplifier, that is at 15 volts, right? And then there is the quantization of the encoder. These are the two non-linearities that the system would be facing. But we are, for most part of the lab, in the beginning, we are going to ignore that saturation point, and we are not looking into the quantization error for now. Let's introduce what PI controller is. It is the most commonly used control algorithm, and there are many purposes to it. For the systems that have simple dynamics, we used to optimize the performance of those systems. And what is the PI control law? The expression for the PI control law is written here in this equation. You might feel that this equation is a bit complicated, but once you get into the details of the block diagram, it is very easy to understand. This u of t is basically the control signal that is going to control your system, while this kp represents the proportional gain, which means that it is being multiplied to the input. It's a simple gain quantity. BSP is another gain, that is a set point weight, while R of t and Y of t, R is the reference input and Y of t is the final output. So the difference between the two is going to be multiplied with the set point weight and being multiplied with the proportional gain. So this part of the law is proportional, P part of your PI controller law. Again, the difference between the two, the reference and the output, when integrated over time and multiplied by a constant of integral gain, this makes the integral part of the integrator part of your PI control law. So collectively, this is PI controller. because we have some reference input, we want our system to track that reference input, but we are achieving some output which has a difference. So the error or the difference of output and the reference is needed to be controlled. And how do we control it? If we multiply it with some quantity, then it is a proportional control, and if we take integral of the error and multiply it with some quantity over your time limit from 0 to t, then this is the integral control. And if we are collectively applying this effect, then it becomes the PI, proportional and integral control. And I just mentioned that there are certain non-linearities. We will be modeling those non-linearities using a fourth parameter AW. But in the first part of the lab, we are not going to discuss this. Inshallah, a week or a week later, we are going to discuss this as well. Now we are going to talk about the PI controller, the equation 3.1 that I just discussed. There is a property of this controller that it always gives a correct steady state value if their system achieves an equilibrium. So if the system gets into a steady state, then there is a correct steady state value that the controller is going to provide us, which means that if the system comes to a steady state, the constant input u of t that is dependent on time becomes USS, some constant, r of t becomes RSS, R steady state, some constant, and then there is a constant output. So let us replace these things in first equation that we were talking about. So the left hand side becomes USS, Kp into BSP, these are the two gains, R minus Y of S plus Ki, and since the integration of the constant yields the variable t here, so it's simply the difference between R and Y multiplied by t. So the left hand side is a constant and the right hand side definitely should also be a constant, and it will only happen if the output Y steady state becomes equal to your reference steady state. So this is the assumption that we are going to make to solve this equation further. So please keep in mind this equation and move forward. We have to design the PI controller to given specifications. And what are those specifications? There should be no overshoot in the step response, and the undamped natural frequency value is kept to be equals to 16.0 radian per second. So these are the, it is just like a design problem where we are given two requirements or two specifications, and according to these two we have to design our controller. Okay, so the first step would be we will start with our transfer function, that is capital K by tau s plus 1, and we will be answering these questions, and after solving these questions we will end up with the design of our PI controller. Okay, so using the PI control law in equation 3.1 and the process transfer, that is this K by tau s plus 1 in 3.2, you have to determine the closed loop block diagram used for the speed control, right? And you have to include the simulated disturbance voltage. It means that this is the transfer function for you, and you have been given the equation for controller. Now you just have to draw the block diagram. So this is the solution to the question. And why do I want you to see this? Because you can be given similar question for different specifications and for different equations, and you have to develop this yourself. So as I said that we are using the PI control law 3.1, which was the equation of u of t, in which you see that the first quantity was being multiplied with, the reference input was being multiplied with a constant BSP, and then the difference of reference and the output Y were being multiplied with the constant gain Kp, the proportional gain Kp. After that, there was the second part of the equation. This whole quantity was being added to the second part of the equation, and that was a constant, an integral gain Ki being multiplied with the integration of the error. And error means the difference of y and reference. So we have calculated the difference of y and reference here, multiplied it with Ki, taken the integral of it and added it with the first part of the equation. So this is my input, this is my control input. So this part on the left hand side is actually the equation 3.1. And since you know that this is the input, controller input going to pass through your motor system, or that is motor, DC motor, and that DC motor has a transfer function K by tau s plus 1. So the control input and the disturbance voltage would collectively make your input voltage Vm, and the output would be Y, or speed, and the block diagram, the block for your motor would be simply the block of your transfer function. So this is the solution of your first question. I want you to write these down on your notes. Okay, then we have to assume that there is no disturbance, and we have to determine the closed loop transfer function G omega R, the block diagram that we just obtained, right? And the output is omega, and now input is your reference input R. Remember, in modeling experiments we had voltage as input. So considering R as input and omega as output, you have to develop the transfer function for this block diagram. It's simple mathematics. Solve these block diagram multiplications and integrations and come up with a expression of your transfer function. So this is question number 2 for you. You have to solve it yourself. Okay. Now how are we going to select the gains? There can be many methods. One of them is solving a polynomial equation, the specified characteristic polynomial, s square plus 2 zeta omega naught s plus omega naught square. And using this particular characteristic equation, we have to solve the problem for finding the control parameters Kp and Ki. That which simply means that we have to derive the relations of Kp and Ki in the term of zeta and omega naught, capital K and tau. Let's discuss how can we do that. Okay, you can see that the question number 2 has the answer to the question number 2 is given here. I'm showing this slide to you so that you can tell your final answer. You don't have to write this equation as it is in the space provided to you for question number 2. Rather, you have to solve it step by step and then end up with this relation, right? Okay. So question number 3 becomes very easy after you solve question number 2. The characteristic equation is given here. Tau s square k kp plus 1 into s plus k into ki. We want the coefficient with s square equals to 1. So we are going to divide all these terms with tau. So it becomes s square plus k kp plus 1 into s by tau plus capital K into Ki by tau. So compare this final form with the given characteristic equation here. So 2 zeta omega naught is the coefficient of s. So the coefficient of s here is K, capital K into Kp plus 1 by tau. So you can find out the value, you can just write one relation here. Comparing the other term, capital K into capital small k I divided by tau is equals to your value omega naught square. Then you are going to solve these, find out value of Kp from this equation and find out value of Ki from this equation. So you just have to derive the relations. No numerical values are required, just the relation of these. You have to choose the value of zeta to get the fastest possible response without overshoot, because this was the specification or this was the requirement in the beginning, that we are going to design our controller with no overshoot in the system, which means that the response should be critically damped. So in order to get a critically damped response, and which should not have any overshoot, it means that we need to keep the value of zeta equals to 1. I'm talking about this characteristic equation. You might have read something similar in your theories lecture. If not, you might be going to cover them in the coming week. So it will be a revision of your concepts. So in this equation, if this value zeta becomes equals to 1, then we get the critical response, a critically damped response, which means that there is no overshoot. Let me check if these questions are included in your manual or not. Using Kp, Ki and zeta as previously determined, the relations that we just derived, and assuming that the controller has no set point weighting, which means that we were multiplying our reference voltage with some constant BSP. Let's assume that there is no BSP. If we ignore that BSP, then you are required to express the transfer function of the same block diagram G omega R in fully factored form, considering that the unit step input is given. So this question requires that you go back to the block diagram, put 0 for the value of BSP, derive the expression for if this block becomes 0, it means that this part is 0 altogether, right? So the block diagram gets reduced, and after solving the after getting the transfer function for the reduced block diagram, you can replace the values of Kp and Ki with what you just calculated in this question number 3. So replace these values of Kp and Ki in that particular transfer function value and answer this question, which is question number 5 of your manual.